thank you. I only have a few slides, I won't bore you with those. He gave a great introduction. So kind of how I started this is about a year ago, more than a year ago, my mom went into assisted care. And exactly that happened. She called me all the time, said, can you pick up this stuff for me on the way home? And I started thinking about it. My wife would do the same thing, saying, well, since you work downtown, we live in Troutdale, we don't have stores like Whole Foods and Nature's where I live. So, can you pick it up on the way home from work? And so I started thinking about what could we do, because what we're seeing out there is we have an aging population. So a lot of people are getting older, that's a fact of life. And these people are not necessarily mobile, but they want stuff. And you can't order everything from Amazon, even though they have the drones that will drop off stuff. I don't think they'll drop your eggs off real well. Also, you also have a growing number of people that work part-time jobs. They may be working from the home, maybe stay-at-home parents. They may be, like my kids, that they can't find a job that keeps them more than 20 or 30 hours a week to save their lives. And so what they're looking for is, well, what can we do while we're out going to the grocery store, or we're out going to school, or we're out running the kids to soccer? We're driving around already, what can we do? And so the idea here is, while you're out running around, go run errands. Go to the grocery store and pick up my eggs and my food while you pick up your eggs and your food. And so I'll do a demo real quick. So I'm going to go do what's next, and then I'll do the demo. So we're going to be piloting this sometime this summer, not sure exactly when, through some distant people we know. So we're going to pick people in certain cities that my wife and I we have friends in, and we're going to have them try these things out. And the idea is to help people that are in basically independent living, or actually anybody who needs it. And then we had a couple of needs. So we're always looking for help. And at this point, this is not yet a startup, so it's pre-startup, so it's more of an idea. But I do have a demo. And now I'm going to disclaim I am not a user interface guy. So try not to laugh too hard when you see the user interface. So that is why I want a user interface person. Okay, so the idea anyway is, so right now you have an interesting market in assisted care or in independent living. A lot of these people are not technology savvy. And so we have a couple of different things we're going to be doing. We're going to be crowdsourcing a call center. So the idea is that people will take calls as they have time from their homes, and they'll actually enter this information into the system for people who can't. The other thing we're going to be building is a tablet-based interface, so they can build a kiosk or like a console that sit in the common living areas. All of these places have cafeterias. They all have places where people congregate. And one of the challenges I've seen going in and out of my mom's place is I see these older women or men walking down to the grocery store carrying back gallons of milk. And that's not particularly fun or easy for them, but that's the choice they have. So the idea here is let's use the interface. The idea here is to make it an easy way for them to go buy stuff. And so they basically click on whatever they want to go buy. In this case, it tells them what the last time they purchased it, how much they purchased it for, and so let them go select that. And then once they go ahead oops, I told you it wasn't a user interface guy. Once they go ahead and add it to the cart, they can go ahead and set up the options of when they want it delivered. So the idea here is that when somebody wants to go out there and do a pickup for these people, they can get a list of people in their area that want stuff picked up. So if I can pick up stuff for 5 or 6 people at the grocery store, that sure is a lot better than doing one at a time. So here what happens is the user is going to go out there and say, here's what they want. Now if I am the person who's going to pick it up, and I'm going to disclaim the same thing, the iOS simulator crashes a lot. Oops. Okay, sorry about that, 1 second. I always forget to do this. Wrong one. This always happens, you get a demo in front of a large number of people.
This is what happens, this is how you do it for real.
Yeah, absolutely. Here we go. Right there. That's the one I want. This is absolutely how you know how it's real, because this is my home address. So if you look at that real quick, you know the geocode for my home address. Okay, so what this is doing is saying, here are the people that want stuff picked up, and it's picking people that are somewhere near me, near where I'm going to go home, or near where I'm going to work, or somewhere along my travel. And what this will do is I want to look at these people. So I want to go out and say, for this person, now what are the reviews of that person? So in this case, it's the review from the perspective of the agent. So it's saying, well, this person, no, do I want to pick up something for somebody who's never home? Probably not. I want the good tippers. And so this will give me an idea of how well this person is, you know, how good of a person this is to pick up stuff for. I also may want to know where this person is. And if everything goes right, it tells me that this person lives right here. I happen to have another person that's picking up stuff from right here, and the grocery store, by the way, they want the stuff from is right here. So it gives me an idea, oh, it's somewhere near where I want to be. So at that point, I can go back and say, yep, I want that. And I'm going to pick this one along the same lines too. And then what I can do is, this one will tell me, you know, here's the list of things I want to buy. As you know, this bacon's on there twice. I got cat food and dog food because these people always need cat and dog food, lots of pets in the homes. I want gluten-free bread. So by the way, one of the challenges of these people is you say, why can't you just go to Safeway.com? You can, but Safeway doesn't sell everything you want. Now, I'm gluten-free, so if I want gluten-free food from my favorite gluten-free bakery, good luck getting it at Safeway. I can't get it there. If I want to go buy maybe like Nature's, so that gives me the option to select. So here, now I've got all these things where I got bacon on there twice, all that. So I have this little feature called Consolidate. And what that will do is group it together. So now I can go to the grocery store and say, well, instead of having to manage 5 different lists with all these different separate things, I can go buy, group things together. Eventually, oops, I'm going to say I'm done. And actually, I can do that from the store place too. I'm trying not to demo something that I just broke today. So at this point, I said I'm complete. So now it's saying, okay, here's where I have to go deliver it to. So I go ahead and again, I can get directions. I just showed you the directions. I can say I deliver, and so I can do things like, well, you know, they delivered it, they're not at home, or they refused it, and so on. So say I delivered it. Eventually, it'll tell you how much to collect from the person. So one of the things that we'll end up doing is, as they're collecting it, I didn't quite show it there, that you can put the price in that they paid for it. Over time, we'll have a pretty good idea of the average prices for things. And so when the person places the order, we'll give them an estimate of what it is, how much is going to be spent. So at this point, it's saying how much to collect from them. So eventually, so that's a good tip. Okay, so at that point, I just went ahead and delivered it. So if I go back to here, with any luck, I'm looking at the same person I just did to. Yeah. So this person says, this one, in this case, this is the one that hasn't been delivered yet. So you might say, how does this person know who's going to deliver the groceries? Well, there I am. I'm going to go deliver the groceries for them. If they want to look at me as an agent, it says, okay, well, here's my history. You know, I have pretty good. I have an average of 4. Eventually, we'll have stars and cool things like that. But I have an average of 4, and here are some interesting things about my review. And I can also make somebody preferred. So the idea is, if I'm available, then that person wants me to deliver the stuff for them. The last thing I'll show you is, maybe almost the last thing. I can do a buy it later sort of thing. Oops. I can do of course it's not going to do it. There we go. I can do a buy it later. So the idea here is that I might want to have something that comes to me every week or every month or every 3rd week. And so at this point, I can go ahead and schedule something, and it will automatically add it to the list so somebody will go pick it up for me. And where I envision doing next with this is taking a list of things that say, here are the things I always want to have on hand. So a lot of these people have caretakers that they pay to come in and do things like help them get ready for bed, help them get up, and stuff like that. And these caretakers, what I've seen a lot of times, is they'll have some form of mobile phone. And one of the things that they can do is they can go do a quick check and see what do these people have. Now, are they out of toilet paper? Are they out of napkins? Out of Depends, which is a big problem. And so they can check that off on the list. Then at that point, we can automatically place an order. This also allows a relative to come in and look and see what's going on, so that they can check up on mom and say, well, does mom have everything mom needs? And they can place the order that way. So that's pretty much it.
So I'm curious, do you expect this to only be used by your friends and family, or do you don't think friendly strangers would help? Well, how do you think about that?
I think the intent is to be able to make it so anybody can help. So the idea is we'll do background checks on people before they get involved. So we don't let some stranger that's going to hurt somebody get involved in this process. Second thing is a lot of these assisted care facilities, and I've talked to several of them, their residents are not yet tech savvy, but they're starting to become tech savvy. But they know how to pick up the phone. The challenges they have is they don't have anybody to pick up this stuff. So my mom lives in a place that has about 255 apartments. And one of the challenges they've had there when they tried something like this is they end up with tens of grocery lists scribbled on pieces of paper that they hand to somebody. And they hand it to somebody, they have to go to the grocery store, and it's just a pain in the neck to manage. So they don't do it. So this gives them a way that they want to staff their own people to do pickups and do this. They can without making it so expensive nobody can afford it. Yes?
Have you thought about how to monetize it?
Still working on that. And so one of the needs I have is a business dev person. So we thought about as a pay for use, thought about also as a software as a service. So basically do a transaction model. Yes?
Are you aware of TaskRabbit?
Yes, I've seen that. And so there are people in this space as far as doing different tasks. Kind of where I'm at is helping manage the actual grocery shopping piece of it. And it's not just groceries. The idea is that it didn't show here really well is I might say, well, please go down to the bakery down the street and get me some gluten-free bread. On the way past it, maybe pick me up a red box. And oh, by the way, I'm out of toilet paper. So that's the concept. And so it's, whoops. Yes?
So since this is an aging market, are you, I'm thinking fixed terminal on this for some reason because I work with a lot of elderly people through OMSI and a variety of different things, and they can barely use a flip phone.
Yes, what I'm thinking is a tablet sort of interface. So one of
So if you're going to go tablet, you're going to introduce that to kind of a sit-down chaos. And just one thing, so we kind of combine this together, are you tying into government assistance programs like EBT, et cetera, so like if they have money given to them through social programs, that money's being connected?
that's something we can consider in the future. So the idea is we're tying into the EBT and government systems programs. And over time we develop this, we would want to head that direction. The first question also was, would we set up like a sort of a kiosk? I'm kind of summarizing that. And the idea is I wanted something that is a simple user interface that they can touch. So that's where the mobile thing went. I went to a trade show last year. One of the cool things I saw is they had a pedestal with an iPad sitting on there. And you see them all the times in restaurants. They flip them back and forth. That's the sort of thing that we have in mind. So that they can just touch what they want and make it as simple as possible. 'Cause you're right. Most of the elderly in my mom's place, they're not going to type on the keyboard or use the mouse.
One more. Matt?
Yes.
First of all, I think it's awesome. It's really impressive. I just have one observation, which is that I feel like you're telling the story very, very well, but anecdotally through the eyes of someone who's in elderly care and who needs this help, so it's a great use case. But I actually think that what you're building is something much greater, and that you'd be able to tell, I think, a bigger story about serving even people, for example, who are moneyed and lazy.
Yes.
Go pick stuff up and just take care of this work. I have the money, but I just don't have the time. So I think that would just be one thing to like abstract it a little bit further, and that's a big deal.
Thank you. And but the other thing, by the way, is what I'm building here is a platform. So the idea is a multi-tenant platform. So we could configure different configurations of this. So different facilities and different people can configure it to look the way they want to and behave the way they want to. So there might be an elderly care version of it. There might be a lazy person who doesn't want to get off the couch version. It doesn't really matter.